Hello YouTube. Today let us go through a topic known as exceptions. So in our daily life we encounter many exceptions. The more wisely we encounter these exceptions, the beautiful our life will be. So in the same way, every database has its own exceptions and we have implemented some easy methods to handle that exceptions. Today let us go through it. So what is exception handling and what is in order to say what is an exception. So exception means error that we encounter when we are using the database. So this error might be due to our faulty inputs or due to some errors in the database. So errors in the database. So how to handle these exceptions that we are going to see in this tutorial. So before that, let me show a basic exception handling syntax. So this is the syntax of the exception handling. The declare block is common in every program, and begin is also common. And this is a special block which we do not see in our previous videos. Exception. The exception start with the exception keyword, and it ends with the same end. So when exception one, then so what is when is also a keyword and then is also a keyword. Then exception one is the exception that might be already built into the server, or we can define our own exceptions. How to define that exceptions we will see in the next videos, in our upcoming videos. So this is exception one. When this exception one is encountered, the this statement is executed. When this exception 2 is encountered, this statement is executed. Exception is encountered, this is executed. So this is similar like saying, hey man, when this, hey man, when you found a chocolate, buy that. When you found another chocolate, buy that. You found another chocolate, buy that. Okay, that's a rather silly example, but let us go to a more practical example. So every PLSQL starts with a declare. So in this declare block, let me give a, uh, a rather more complex query. Sal is the name of the variable. Trig1 is the table that we created in the previous video. P percentage type. So what does this trig1 dot salary percentage type mean? Trig1 is the name of the table and salary is the name of the column, and this percentage indicates that we are typecasting the column. So there is no need to define the type of the column every time. So if we simply give that, it is automatically assigned to the type of that column. So in the next variable that we are going to define is CID. Check1.id percentage check1.id percentage type equal to ampersand CCID. So what does this ampersand CCID mean? It means that I'm going to give the value of CID in the runtime. So this ampersand CCID is a temporary variable that we will assign the value, which will then assign its value to the CID. So next, let me begin the executable statements. So if CID is less than 0, I mean to say that if the ID of the person is less than 0, which will never happen, and that's going to be the exception here, then you need to throw that exception. So in order to throw that exception, first we should define that exception. So let me just quit out of this statement. Let me just copy and paste it again. Oh, come on. So let me just define an exception name as invalid and the type is exception. So exception is also a type like char, varchar, that is already built into the PLSQL. Begin if CID is less than 0, then we need to throw that, then raise. So in the C we will just throw that, in the PLSQL we will raise it. So we are raising that exception, raise invalid. So raising invalid, raise invalid. Otherwise we need to select. Otherwise what we will do is we will just select that into our sal variable and we'll display it onto the output. Else we will select that, select. So we are selecting that column named salary. Into is also a keyword, into sal. Where CID equal to where ID equal to CID. Select salary into CID into sal, where ID is equal to CID. So what does this mean? It selects salary into select select the record or the value present in salary into this sal variable where ID is equal to CID. So after this we want to display it to the user. So how to do it? I will show you. Where ID is equal to CID, GTMS underscore put underscore sal. Okay, I displayed that sal and I will end the if loop, and after this we'll define our exception that we seen before. Exception is the exception block. When no data found, then so what does this mean is when no data found. So if you enter like a ID of the person who is not present in your company, then it displays that no person is present. You can write that. So let me just copy it. Control C, Control V. No person. When no data found. Okay. When this is our implicit exception, that is of name invalid. When invalid, then so invalid means that if we enter the ID which is less than 0, which in our case it will never happen, then it must show that no ID exists. So this is like saying that if you enter a negative person, then it will say that no, that kind of ID will not exist. In other cases, which is going to be the error of the database, it shows that when others, it means that in every other case, In every other case, in case of if the database not working properly, it will display this case, it will execute this case. Put output line sorry ever. Let me just type sorry ever. So let me end this. Enter value for CCID. Let me just enter 2057. See, so I think I gave a little error here. Yeah, the error is here. I didn't terminate this properly. So let me just copy it. Control C, Control V. I'm copying because yeah, I'm lazy. What man? Okay, guys, don't worry. I'll copy it again. Okay. Copy, copy, copy. Let us copy. Control C, Control V. So this is the error that I did there. I gave the extra mark there. Sal. Okay, after this I will copy the same thing. Enter the value of the CCID 2057. Okay guys, I rectified the error. Let us see if it will work. And enter value for CID 2057. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, our trig1 table has two columns, namely salary and ID. Let me just write as salary and ID. So the salary value is to 25,000 and ID is 2057. So when I enter 2057, displayed the 25,000. So if I type some 2059, it should throw me an exception, throw me an error. So value for CCID to PQ 2056, then no such data. So there is no such data as 20, there is no such data available for 2056. So that's an exception. So if I give like -1, it must tell me that invalid. So that's the thing, guys. Is the basic exception handling case present in PLSQL. So if you found something interesting or if you found something new, please subscribe and share to your friends who think can learn these things. Thank you guys. See you in the next videos.